Welcome everyone to the home opener for Owen-Withee Volleyball. Glad you can make it with us today. We have Greenwood being hosted by the Blackhawks tonight. Should be a fun game. We're going to raise our camera up here a little ways so you can get a good view of the floor. And after we get our lineups done, Owen-Withee will have the serve. Good luck to both teams. Reyna Arndt starting the serves. Good return from Greenwood back. And it's in. Greenwood gets the first point of the match. Greenwood serve. Picked up by Bender. Smashed over by Erickson. Nice dig underneath. Nice little touch, and it goes down for an Owen-Withee score. 1-1 in the first set. We'll try and get our Greenwood names going as fast as I can here. Nice over from Greenwood. Pushes over to Shelton over. Greenwood struggling to get it over and just misses. Point for Owen-Withee, 2-1. Second hit spike and a missed touch from Owen-Withee's side makes it 2-2. For Greenwood, we have a sub. Delaney Kirchner coming in for Emma Schlow. Greenwood serve. Nice little knuckle over from Owen-Withee. Back over from Greenwood. Bender to Arndt to Weiler off the net. And that's going to be a point for Greenwood. 3-2 for Greenwood. Serving again. Bender receives. And Arndt set a little too close to the net for Erickson to handle. 4-2 now for Greenwood. Avery Wietrick back to serve again. Bender receives. Over to Shelton over. Nice block, but we have a net violation there. And that will be a point for Greenwood. 5-2 now. Greenwood lead. Wietrick still serving. Shelton to Arndt. Back to Shelton over. And it's just out. Another point for Greenwood. 6-2 now. Wietrick again. Over. She's on a good streak. Arndt over to Erickson. Just tipped. Looking for a free ball here. Bender receives. Erickson over. Nice dig to get it up, but could not get it back. Rally ends going back to Owen-Withee. Sydney Holida comes in. Erickson to serve is short. Makes it 7-3 Greenwood. Libero serving. Arndt receives. Holida with the over. Oh! And Sydney Holida with 2 touches. Gives a point to Greenwood. 8-3 now. Moline Artek again back to serve for Greenwood. Grasky, Weiler to Shelton over, but it's out. Another point, Greenwood. 9-3 in the first set here. Artek again. Grasky receives to Weiler to Halida over, just over the net. Arndt back to Erickson over. In a great place that goes in. 9-4 now. Owen-Withee gets the serve back. And we have Kendall Weiler back to serve. Nice dig in from Libero. Over and just in. My apologies for the camera angle. That was just in the corner. 10-4, good buddy. We say Greenwood is in the lead. Greenwood serve in. Grasky digs. Weiler up and Grasky almost over. Another point, Greenwood. 11-4. Kaya Abel back to serve again for Greenwood. Just over and pushes back. Nice dig from Erickson. And just out of bounds. 12-4. Greenwood in the lead. Kaya Abel again back. Arndt over to Weiler. Back to Arndt over. Abel receives. Good motion there from Owen-Withee to get that up. Sydney Halida just, too high on the strike there. 13-4. And Owen-Withee calls a timeout. We will do the same thing. We'll be back with you in just a bit. Back in now. We are at 13-4. Greenwood to serve. Arndt going over, but misses. Makes it 14-4 favor of Greenwood. Arndt to Weiler. Over to Shelton. Nice little tip over. Libero over and Halida with a knock. And Owen-Withee gets the point off of a great attempt back from Greenwood. 14-5 now. And Dakota Shelton back to serve. Off the tip and off another tip. And way out of bounds. Turnover back to Greenwood. 15-5 now the score in the first set here. Erickson to Weiler. Over to Grasky, who knocks it down and in. Point Owen-Withee, 15-6. We have a sub here. Number 4 coming back in for 8. And number 7 coming back in for 15 for Owen-Withee. Kirshner in for Schlew, and Bender in for Halida. Bender serve. Cannot get return from Greenwood. I'm sorry, we have some kind of violation there. It's 16-6. Greenwood. Sorry, I didn't quite get the whole reason that was happening. I heard something about not touching. Super spike from Erickson. Makes it now 16-7. Greenwood still ahead. Top of the order again. Reyna Arndt back to serve. Nice little tip over from Greenwood. Erickson with power and in the corner. Again, apologies for the angle. Point for Owen-Withee. 8 points now for Owen. Reyna Arndt still back to serve. A little shorter and unreturnable. That's an ace for Reyna Arndt. 9-16. Free ball back to Owen. Shelton receives. Arndt to Grasky. That's just over and in. Owen-Withee on a streak now. It's 10-16. Greenwood still holding a lead. Arndt again. From the side. Little floater over back to Bender. Arndt to Erickson, tips over. Some action at the net and no return from Greenwood. Makes it 11-16. Greenwood's lead cut to 5 and Greenwood takes a timeout. And we'll be back in just a few minutes. For a few minutes. That was a quick little timeout just to stop the rally. Arndt again to serve. Arndt receives. Erickson over to Grasky, who puts it in. 12-16 now. Arndt again on a rally. Libero sets up. Blue block over. Erickson pushes it back. Greenwood resets. Nice spike. Arndt receives. Weiler to Erickson. Back over. Floating. Back over. Arndt sets up. Grasky just over. Was in a good place. Just saved it up. Libero bumps over. Bender receives. Arndt over to Erickson. Pushes over. Greenwood trying to receive back. Weiler with a nice dig. Erickson over to the back. Bump over from Greenwood. Bender receives. Arndt over to Grasky. Off the tip. And in. Excellent rally back and forth from both teams there. Owen-Withee gets the point. 13-16. Arndt to serve. And Arndt's serve goes short. Could a big dent out of that lead now. 17-13 Greenwood. Looks like Mesa Rasmussen to serve. Bender to Arndt. Grasky on the other side floats in. 17-14. Greenwood still has a 3-point lead in the first set here. Now we have Grasky. Bender receives. A little danger here for Owen. Bumps it over. Would have been just in. Scrambles. More scramble. Pushes over. Shelton, Erickson. Shelton looking to move it. Looks like we've all reset again. Nice block. Push over from Greenwood. Arndt over to Shelton. Pushes over to the libero. Bump over from Greenwood. Erickson, Arndt, and Halita pushes over. Way back in the corner. Grasky a little too far over. Grasky, Arndt. Erickson down, and a point for Owen. Another great rally from both teams. But again, Owen gets the point off of it. 15-17, Grasky again to serve. Nice play from Greenwood to get that over. Weiler scrambling. Brender pushes over. Greenwood spike from the side. From Kia Abel goes into the net. Down to a 1-point lead for Greenwood, 16-17. Grasky again. Abel. We have a net violation on Owen from Kendall Weiler. Makes 18-16 Greenwood. Kirchner checks back in for slow. And Wheatrick serving. Bender receives. Arndt pushes over. Abel from the side goes out. And sub for Owen. Halita in for Bender. And Erickson to serve for Owen. And we have another net violation from Weiler. Makes it 19-17. Artek for Greenwood to serve. Long serve in. Grasky. Weiler has to dig it out. Grasky just gets it over and it goes in. Little scramble play helped Owen-Withee there. 19-18. Greenwood still nursing a slight lead here in the first set. Weiler serving. Greenwood looking for some help, looking for more help, but it does not get there. Owen-Withee has tied it at 19 now. Weiler serving again. And Owen-Withee with their first lead, 20-19. And Greenwood will take another timeout. And we'll be back in just a bit. Timeout here. 20-19. Owen-Withee with their first lead here. Weiler still serving. There was a touch. Yeah, I was going to say, I thought there was a touch there. Referee called the touch. We're back to 20/20 vision, ironically enough. Nice low serve from Greenwood. Weiler sets up Shelton over. Little miscommunication on Greenwood's side. Point goes to Owen-Withee. 21-20. And Shelton going back to serve. An ace for Shelton makes it 22-20. In case you joined us late, Greenwood came out with a pretty commanding lead. It was 16-6 at one point. And Owen-Withee has fought back to 22-20. Nice block. That went out. Great strategy from Greenwood, just a little too long. Shelton again. Little touch from Halida. Little miscommunication there. Arndt gets it over. Off the touch. Grasky over. Little punch over. Erickson saves it. Halida to Arndt. Off a little touch. Nice dig from Artek. Halida to Weiler over to Grasky. Across the court and off a touch. It's set point for Owen, 24-20. Shelton hoping for set point here. Free ball over for Owen to grab. Grasky with a spike over. Nice play from Greenwood, backhanding. Halida over. Greenwood struggling to save, but they get it over. Arndt pushing over. Halida with the spike that goes into the net. 24-21. Owen-Withee looking for a side out to get the set. We have Kirshner serving. Grasky looking to end it, but goes in the net. 22-24. Owen still hoping for set point here. Erickson to Weiler over to Grasky. And that's the set for Owen. Owen-Withee takes the first set of this match tonight. I believe it's the first conference game for Owen. I'm not sure about Greenwood's schedule. They may have had one last week. I'm not entirely sure. But we're on our way to the second set in just about 3 minutes. We'll be back with you. back in for the second set here. Greenwood will start the serve this time. Looks like we're starting with Riley Gardner. Bender off her face a little bit. Erickson over. Nice smash from Greenwood. With a nice save from Owen. Rasmussen in. Grasky goes too far, goes out. Greenwood gets the first point of the second set. Arndt to Bender over to Grasky. Greenwood puts back over. Erickson really too close to the net for Grasky to do anything with. 2-0 now, Greenwood. Gardner again. Erickson to push over. Nice block from Erickson, but we have a whistle. Oh, it did not. Apparently, Erickson did not block that. They called 4 touches on Greenwood there. Owen-Withee gets a point. Arndt back to serve. Whoa. Careful down there. Weiler over to Erickson in the middle. Artek gets a good dig. Whoa, Artek is on a roll here. Arndt over to Grasky. Wow, Artek is all over the floor here. Greenwood gets it over. Arndt setting up Grasky for a push. Nice, a little too close there. And Owen pushes it out of bounds after some desperation. 3-1 now, Greenwood. And Rasmussen to serve. Push over from Arndt. Abel. Arndt over to Grasky, gets blocked by Greenwood and back down. And that we call out. It's 2-3. Greenwood still leading. Grasky serving. Rasmussen pushes over. Arndt Weiler to Erickson. Artek again diving around. Good direction from Greenwood there. Shelton bumps over. Abel also bumps over. Arndt over to Erickson. A little too close to the net for Abel to grab. Owen-Withee ties it at 3. 3-3 in the second set. Grasky. Artek receives. Set over to Abel, who just gets it in the back line. Nice placement there from Greenwood. And we have a sub. Kirshner in for Schlu. And Wietrich with the serve. Grasky, Arndt, Erickson. And that one goes in. 4-4. Sub for Owen-Withee. Halita going in for Bender. Erickson back to serve. Nice spike from Greenwood. Basically goes up and down after the block. Gets a point to Greenwood, 5-4. Artek back to serve. Weiler digging down real deep to try and save that ball, but it ends up to no avail. Greenwood leading now 6-4. Artek serving again. Arndt to Weiler to Halita. I was worried they weren't waiting for the whistle there, but it does end up in Greenwood's court. Point to Owen. 5-6. Greenwood still winning by 1 in the second set here. Artek on the ground again. Arndt just tips it over. Everybody's diving in for that one. Halita just bumps over to get it out of danger. No communication there. And Riley Gardner ends up with some success off of the mistake. 7-5 Greenwood. Abel serving over. Weiler sets up Shelton. And they could not save that one. Side out back to Owen. 6-7 in second set. Shelton now to serve. A little too strong from Gardner. Goes out. Tied up at 7 again. 7 up, they say. Shelton to serve. That's heading to the back of the court. And no chance to receive. I think we can call that an ace for Shelton. Want to say that's her second of the match. Artek receives. Over to Rasmussen. Nice spike from Rasmussen there. Grasky's floor spike doesn't go anywhere except into the net. 8-8 now. Kirshner back to serve for Greenwood. 8-all. Shelton, Weiler to Halita. Floats over to the back row. Sets up Rasmussen, who gets it in. Great placement from Rasmussen. Gives Greenwood the lead again. 9-8. Kirshner back to serve for Greenwood. Adds a funny spin on that serve. Arndt to Weiler to Halita, pushing over off the block. Rasmussen, Artek, and Wietrich. Well, that one goes out. Tied up at 9. Schlu comes back in for Kirshner. And Bender comes back in for Halita. Bender going back to serve for Owen-Withee. Setting up Gardner over. Bender receives. Weiler to Grasky over Artek. Setting up Rasmussen off the block. And out. Point for Greenwood off the block. Lauren Ingold comes in for the libero. Weiler receives. Arndt to Erickson. Grasky. Greenwood pulls that out. Rasmussen with a strong serve off the block and out. 11-9. Greenwood now with a 2-point lead. Not the longest of the set. They did have a 3-point lead early on. Weiler receives. Arndt. DeGrasky gets blocked over. Grasky tries to get it back up. And it goes away. And Owen-Withee will call a timeout here. There's 12-9 in the second set. Greenwood in the lead. And we'll take a break right with them. We'll be back in a bit. back out after the timeout. It's 12-9. Greenwood in the lead. Gardner serves. Arndt over to Erickson. Rasmussen saves it. Back over to Rasmussen from Schlu. Arndt over to Grasky. Yep, I'm right. Rasmussen back over from Greenwood. Bender receives. Weiler to Shelton. Shelton sends it to the back row for Gardner to receive. And Ingold with the pushover. Arndt returns, and it's out. Very close out, but out. Greenwood with their biggest lead of this set. 13-9. And Bender gets called for the carry. 14-9. Gardner again. Arndt to Grasky. Erickson has to step back to get that one. Over to the back corner. Ingold goes into the net. That's going to be a point for Owen. 14-10 now. Back to the top of the order. Arndt serving. That's really off the top of the net. I was going to say that was really close. But it drops on Greenwood's side. Point for Owen. Arndt again back to serve. 11-14. Schlu to Ingold. Ingold gets it out. 12-14. Arndt again to serve. Schlu setting up. Rasmussen over. Bender receives. Arndt to Grasky. And nobody goes for it on Greenwood's side. 14-13. Arndt again using her magic in a big push to get the lead cut down. Schlu sets up Rasmussen over. Arndt. Bender. Weiler pushes over. That's Rasmussen on the left side pushing over. Grasky off the block. Erickson pushes over. Weiler to Erickson. Artek with the save. Setting up Ingold, who goes in. Excellent play from both teams again. But Greenwood gets that point. 15-13 now. And Rasmussen back to serve. Diving save from Halida. Arndt just pushes over, and Greenwood cannot recover it back. 14 now for Owen, 1 point behind Greenwood. Here in the second set, Grasky back to serve for Owen. Artek receives. A little miscommunication there. Abel with getting blocked, but gets pushed back over. Arndt setting up Shelton over. Setting up Ingold. Nice touch. Weiler pushes over quick. Gets back to Grasky. Arndt to Erickson. And it's in. Tied up at 15 now. Grasky still to serve for Owen. Artek receives. Ingold with a floater. Arndt receives. Weiler to Erickson. Ingold goes backward. Free ball from Abel. Bender to Arndt to Erickson down. Nice save from Schlu. Wietrick over. Receive from Owen. Shelton just barely gets it over the net. Weiler over to Arndt to Erickson. And there's a touch. That's point for Owen off the touch. 16-15 now for Owen. Grasky still to serve. Artek receives high on her arms. They get it over. Erickson pushes over. And that is in from Erickson. Nice spike there for the kill. 17-15 now, Owen. And Greenwood calls the timeout. We'll be back with you in just a bit. After the timeout, 17-15. Kraske ready to serve for Owen. Ingold over. Erickson over to Weiler with the spike. Saved by Schlu. Artek to Abel. Bender, Arndt, Shelton for the over. Abel saves. Schlu back over to Abel. Blocked. Erickson, Shelton, they're scrambling. Arndt pushes over. Artek, Schlu, and Abel just inbounds. Bender saves. Arndt, Shelton just over the net. Nice little push over from Greenwood. Arndt, Erickson, it gets blocked big time from Greenwood. Greenwood gets a side out. 16-17. And Kirshner comes in for Schlu. Wietrich back to serve for Greenwood. Arndt pushes over. Ingold with a nice spike. Bender saves. Arndt over to Shelton. Artek. Ingold with a nice little touch, and we have a net violation on Greenwood. That was on Ingold. Point goes to Owen. Halita comes in for Bender. It's 18-16. Katie Erickson back to serve for Owen-Withee. That looked very awkward. As a soccer official, I would be very proud of that kick. Well, that goes to Owen-Withee, as he could not receive. Ace for Erickson. 19-16 now. Ingold goes into the net. 2016 for Owen. I remember that year. Erickson serve. Artek receives. That is in, just barely in. Making it 2017. Greenwood now 3 points behind after some good strong rallies from Owen-Withee. Artek back to serve. Arndt receives. Weiler sets up Halita. And that one goes into the Greenwood court. 21-17 now. Weiler back to serve. Artek receives nice and low. Gardner pushes it over. Erickson to Weiler to Arndt, who just gets it on the line. 22-17 now for Owen. Largest lead of this set for them. Weiler serves. Kirshner pushes it way out of bounds. Point goes Owen-Withee, 23-17. Beautiful serve from Weiler that Greenwood cannot receive. Ace for Weiler sets up set point for Owen-Withee, 24-17 in the second set here. Weiler serves, setting up Wietrich. Or excuse me, Kirshner. My apologies. Erickson over. Great dig Again off the ceiling. And they're calling it as it went over on Owen-Withee's side and touched the ceiling. Looks like we're having some kind of conference here. We're having a conference, so hang on. We're waiting on some rulings here. We're going to replay that. We're calling a replay. I thought that it hit on Greenwood's side of that light and came back. So we're just going to replay that. Still set point for Owen-Withee while they're serving. Rasmussen to Artek. And Kirshner's spike over hits the net and comes down. It is Owen-Withee set. They're up 2 sets of 2 so far. Getting ready for the 3rd set coming up in just a few minutes. We'll be back with you in just a bit. Set here in Owen-Withee. Owen is ahead 2-0, about to start the 3rd set. Owen should have the first serve here. We'll get all the formations organized and we will start this 3rd set with Owen-Withee hoping it'll be the final set. We have Rena Arndt to start it off. Let's see what the Blackhawks can do with this 3rd set. Arndt starts off just skimming the net. Rasmussen over. Shelton receives. Weiler to Grasky over. Artek to Schlu to Rasmussen. We have a net violation on Owen-Withee. And just like every set so far, Greenwood takes the first point. Rasmussen to serve for Greenwood. Eriksson with the pushover. Rasmussen receives. Schlu to Abel. That's going way out off of the touch in Owen-Withee. 2-0 now, Greenwood. Rasmussen again. Shelton receives. Arndt to Eriksson. And that is out. Maybe a ball's width out on that one. 3-0 Greenwood. Rasmussen to serve. Arndt setting up Eriksson. Rasmussen hits the ceiling with that bump, and it goes onto the floor. Owen-Withee's point. Grasky back to serve. 3-1. This looks extremely familiar to the other sets. Nice dig from Artek. Goes over. Weiler over to Eriksson. That's Ingold with a spike over. Eriksson calls it. Ingold looking to turn but cannot spin around with the hit. And it goes down 3-2. Greenwood still with the 1-point lead. Grasky serving. And an ace for Grasky. Makes it 3-3. Grasky serve again. Ingold gets blocked by Eriksson. Eriksson then with a spike after. Schlu sets up Abel, pushes over Grasky. Arndt to Eriksson. Off the net. Off a touch. And out. That's going to be a point for Owen. 4-3. In the third set now, Grasky again to serve. That was an awkward little bump from Abel, but got control of it. Ingold with a super spike. That Grasky cannot handle. We are 4-4. Greenwood now to serve. And Kirshner comes in for Schlu. Wietrich serving. Setting up Eriksson for the back corner. It's in. And we have a sub in for Owen-Withee. Halita comes in for Bender, as they normally do. Eriksson back to serve for Owen. 5-4 in the third set. Kirshner with a spike over. Received from Eriksson. Shelton gets a tip. And a jig attempt from, from Artek. And hits the floor. 6-4 now Owen. Eriksson again to serve. Artek receives. Wietrich to Kirshner. Goes over. Halita brings it back with a nice spike that Artek cannot handle. 7-4 now Owen. Eriksson again. Eriksson serve goes in the net. Turn over to Greenwood now 5-7. Greenwood down 2. And Artek to serve. Arndt over to Weiler to Shelton, who goes straight into the net. 6-7 now for Artek's serve. Eriksson misplays that one. We'll call that an ace for Artek. 7 up again. Just like last set, we got to 7-7. Artek again. Grasky digs in, cannot recover it. Artek with a back-to-back ace. 8-7. We are cleaning up the floor a little bit here. We got some moisture. We don't want anybody getting hurt. And there we go. Artek serving 8-7. Greenwood now leading. Shelton. Weiler saves it. Grasky from the back row pushes it over. Abel with the spike. Erickson, Grasky. Weiler saves it, pushes it over with the bump. Artek to Wheatrick to Abel. Grasky receives. Arndt sets up Shelton, who misplays. 9-7 now. Greenwood extending their lead. Artek again. Arndt, Weiler to Erickson from the back row. That's in. That one's in. Owen-Withee gets the point. 8-7 with Weiler setting up to serve. An ace for Weiler, 9-9. Looked like that hit Artek both in the hand and face before it got to the floor. Weiler serve again. Artek receives. Ooh, nice little set work from the net there from Greenwood. Gardner, looks like we get 4 hits on Greenwood. Point goes to Owen. We're at 10-9. Weiler again to serve, looking to extend the lead. Gardner just over the top of the net. Arndt, Weiler, Shelton over. Push over from Wheatrick. Arndt gets the kill. 11-9 for Owen-Withee. Weiler serving off the light and down. Another point for Owen. 12-9. Gardner over. Grasky receives. Weiler to Arndt, pushing toward the corner. And it's in. 13-9. I'm sure Greenwood is considering trying to stop this rally somehow. Weiler, Rasmussen, Wheatrick, and Kirshner over. Weiler sets up Shelton. Artek. Rasmussen with a collision actually gets a touch on it. And that's what I was expecting there. Greenwood calls the timeout. It's 14-9 Owen-Withee in the third set, looking to take it in this one. We'll be back with you in just a bit. Sorry about that. You couldn't hear the music very well. I'll fix that next time. All right. Weiler serves. Kirshner pushes it way out of bounds off the back. Point goes to Owen, 15-9. Weiler again. Weiler's had a series of probably 6 or 7 points now. Looks like Gardner pushed that one out. Point goes to Owen, 16-9. Weiler serve. Heads to Artek. Wheatrick to Kirschner over Grasky, Weiler, Halida. Gardner somehow saves that quick. Setting up Shelton off the block. But it looks like it went out of bounds on the side of the pole extension there. Point goes to Greenwood. They stop the rally there. Weiler, Halida heading to the back row. Artek to Rasmussen over. Erickson, Weiler, Arndt pushes over. Rasmussen quick goes back over. Grasky, Weiler setting up Shelton. That goes out. 11-16 now. Abel serving again. Halida pushes. Artek pushing over to Kirschner. Grasky, Weiler, Halida pushes. Artek pushes back right away. Grasky, Weiler, Shelton with a little flip up. Artek setting up Rasmussen over. Erickson, Weiler, Arndt does not get over the net. Greenwood's point. 12-16 now. Still in the third set that Greenwood needs to win. Abel. Arndt receives on the line. Weiler back to Arndt. That came back over. Gardner gets received, pushes out. And I'm just way behind. Rasmussen gets stuffed by Sidney Halida. 17-12. Owens in the lead. Shelton to serve. Rasmussen over quick. Halida in the middle, off a block. Gardner got a touch on it. Gardner again strikes it over. Erickson had to dig that out, and Arndt pushes over after some scramble. Rasmussen with a floater. Weiler, Grasky gets it over. Rasmussen saves, push over from Wheatrick. Raina Arndt with the spike. Excellent save from Greenwood. Shelton to Weiler, back to Shelton over. Wheatrick sets up Riley Gardner, who gets it on the floor. Point for Greenwood. Some wild play there. 13-17, Greenwood serving now. That's Kirschner serving. Grasky with a spike into the back corner. That gets over. Grasky still on the floor. And Gardner's touch cannot go over the net. And it goes to Owen-Withee. Schlu in for Kirschner. And Bender in for Halida. Autumn Bender will head back to serve for Owen-Withee. 18-13 in the third set. Owen looking to close it out here. Rasmussen over. Grasky pushes over to Arndt, gets it over. Wheatrick. Erickson over. Wheatrick gets it over. Arndt spikes it right away. Rasmussen with the spike. Arndt sets it over by accident. And we have a carry call. Illegal touch on Raina Arndt there. 14-18. Riley Gardner back to serve. And that serve goes in the net. 19-14 for Owen. 6 points away from the match. Back to the top of the order. Raina Arndt back to serve. Artek. Ingold with a nice big spike. Bender can't control it. Point goes to Greenwood. 15-19. And Miso Rasmussen back to serve for Greenwood. Bender. Arndt to Erickson. Artek pushes it back over, and it goes out. 20-15. Abel pushes it over Bender. Arndt has a missed touch and gives a face for it. We have a sub back in. Kirshner coming in for Schlee. Avery Wietrick back to serve for Greenwood. Long serve. Grasky, Arndt, Erickson. Pushes it toward the center of the court. Abel's spike goes across. Shelton gets it. Arndt sets up Shelton again. Pushes it to the back. Rasmussen, Wietrick, and trap at the net. And Weiler mishandles after that. It's 20-17. Greenwood trying to make a comeback out of this. Wietrick again back to serve. Shelton, Arndt. Back to Shelton over. Wietrick, Ingold, and Abel misses the touch. 21-17. And Halida comes in for Bender on the Blackhawk side. Erickson with the serve. Kirshner gets it over. Arndt sets up. Shelton goes over. Setting up Abel on Greenwood side. Setting up Halida off the block. Abel gets back up. Wietrick. Oh, we got some movement here. Woo. Nice save from Owen-Withee there. Halida gets it over the bump. But Greenwood gets the point in the end. Excellent spike from Greenwood there. Artek, the libero, back to serve now for Greenwood. 18-21. Shelton pushes over and out. Cuts the lead in two now. 19-21. Greenwood still looking to get back in this. Erickson, Weiler, Halida. Good scrambling to get out of the way. Abel bumps it over. Arndt setting up Halida. Artek recovers. Wietrick with a nice push. Erickson, Arndt, Shelton gets over the net, and Greenwood cannot recover it. 22-19. Weiler back to serve for Owen. Weiler had the big rush earlier. Arndt sets up Halida, who gets it on the floor for a kill. 23-19. Owen's 2 points away from a match win. Kirshner in the back corner is out. It's match point now for Owen-Withee. Weiler to serve. That might have been out, but they got it. Kirshner back to Erickson. Arndt trying to get the win off the net a little bit. Abel pushes over. Erickson. Weiler pushes over. Wietrick, Gardner, and Kirshner over. And a scramble from Owen-Withee makes it land on the floor. Greenwood is not out yet. 20-24. Kaya Abel has to finish serving this set if she's going to take the win. Gretzky over. Little scramble from Weiler. Shelton pushes over. Owen-Withee resets a bit. Shelton Weiler, Arndt pushes over to the corner. Wheatrick, Gardner, Artek with a nice save. Weiler pushes over. And that is match for Owen-Withee. 25-20 in the last set. Owen-Withee comes away with the win tonight in 3 straight sets. I believe Owen-Withee is traveling to Auburndale for a quad on Thursday. I apologize. I do not know the rest of Greenwood's schedule here. But we will be back with more volleyball, I believe, next week as we have another home match here. Let's see here. Oh, I apologize. We are not home again until September 28th. We're going to have a couple weeks off before we are back here again on Black Talk TV with some home games. Nice little break here where everybody's away. Football is not back at home until early October. And by then we should be able to live stream our remaining home football games. So do stay available for Owen-Withee. Once again, wrapping up the night, Owen-Withee takes the match 3 straight sets. And with that, we say good night and go Blackhawks.